Hi, and welcome to my channel. Today, let me give you a secret, one that can completely shift the way you approach relationships. This isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding human psychology, specifically how women respond to structure, leadership, and emotional consistency. When you finish watching this video, you'll grasp a simple but powerful concept that allows you to create mutual respect and healthy boundaries in your relationship without raising your voice, begging, or arguing. Let's dive into the strategy I call the invisible fence method, a psychological framework that helps you naturally command respect, not demand it. Why boundaries work and why words don't. Here's the truth, no one tells you. Women don't respond to what you say. They respond to what happens after they test you. Think of it this way. Actions carry more weight than conversations. Words can be forgotten or ignored. Consequences are remembered. Before we go further, this information is powerful, and with power comes responsibility. Use these principles to foster better relationships, not control or manipulate. Let's consider this analogy to represent the invisible fence. Imagine you have a domestic animal that has no leash, no boundaries, and only total freedom. So what happens? He runs into the street, digs up the yard, and jumps on guests. Chaos, right? Imagine that this animal senses an invisible fence, even though he cannot see it. There is a shock when he crosses the line for the first time. Confused, he tries again. Another consequence. He soon realizes that there is a boundary he must not cross. That boundary becomes natural over time. People are not all that different, especially when it comes to relationships. The purpose of boundaries is not control. They're about clarity and consistency. Without them, both people feel lost. Now, let us explore the 5 components of the invisible fence strategy. 1. Establish the line early and maintain it. From the very beginning, be clear on what you will and will not tolerate. If a woman cancels plans last minute, don't immediately reschedule. If she brings up other men to get a reaction, don't take the bait. If she speaks disrespectfully, don't argue, just withdraw your attention. The goal isn't punishment, it's clarity. Every time she crosses a line, your reaction, or lack of it, should serve as quiet reinforcement. Be calm, firm, and consistent. The mistake most men make? Being hot and cold with their boundaries. One day they're firm, the next, they let things slide. That sends mixed signals, and mixed signals kill respect. 2. Reinforce what works, ignore what doesn't. People naturally gravitate toward what feels good, so reward behaviors that align with your values and disengage from behaviors that don't. If she supports you, uplifts you, and respects your time, show appreciation. If she acts in ways that undermine the relationship, withdraws emotionally or physically, not to punish, but to redirect. Arguments are unnecessary when your actions speak. 3. Develop your identity, not your commands. What is more profound is that people behave in ways that reflect their perceptions of themselves. Therefore, assist her in seeing herself as the type of woman who respects, supports, and believes in your leadership rather than giving clear commands. Remind her of that goal whenever she acts in a way that supports it by saying, "I admire how supportive you are." Most people don't get that right. Now she sees herself as a supportive partner. That identity becomes self-sustaining. If she disrespects you, don't lecture her. Just withdraw. When she adjusts, affirm the change with "That's exactly what I'd expect from a woman who values a strong connection." 4. Never bend the boundary. Let's go back to the domestic animal. Say one day the fence malfunctions. The animal runs wild. The next day, everything is back to normal. What do? You re-establish the boundary immediately or risk losing its power. If you let bad behavior slide even once, it sends the message, that boundary doesn't really matter. Whether it's disrespect, emotional manipulation, or inconsistent behavior, Your standard must remain solid. Once a rule becomes negotiable, it becomes meaningless. 5. Provide what she can't get elsewhere. This is where true loyalty is built, not from domination, but from value. A baby doesn't just follow anyone, but the mother who feeds, loves, and keeps him or her safe. They bonds deeply. Women aren't drawn to men who control them. They're drawn to men who fulfill them emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. If she craves stability, be her emotional rock. If she values validation, give praise, but only when earned. If she seeks direction, lead with confidence and clarity. The more your presence becomes a source of security and fulfillment, the less she'll want to risk losing it. Not because she's trained, but because she chooses to stay close to what she values. In conclusion, real leadership isn't loud, it's steady. Most men try to lead with logic or force. It never works. Real influence comes from emotional consistency, quiet strength, and unshakable standards. When you implement the invisible fence method, she'll test less because she knows you don't bend. She'll respect you more because she feels the consequences, not just hears about them. She'll align herself with your vision, not through force, but by choice. And best of all, you won't have to keep correcting her. She'll adjust herself to keep you. Want to go deeper? If you're ready to master emotional influence and create deep attraction that lasts, check out my other videos. They dive into the psychology behind how women bond, commit, and crave strong leadership. See you in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Thanks for watching.